Welcome to Educa Pathways, to another information session. My name is Trevon, and we have been conducting these information sessions for the last couple of 2 months. So today we are going to speak about the Institute of Technology, Carlow, which is in Ireland. We got Miss Rachel Neal, who is the international officer for IT Carlow, and she'll be speaking about what are the programs on offer and the facilities, the scholarships, how you can enter, and what kind of details are there. And also talking about IT Carlow, it's in the southeast of Ireland, and it's about 50 miles from Dublin. IT Carlow was established in 1970, and it's celebrating 50 years in the education industry, which I think is a very remarkable milestone. And also there are more than 60,000 students who have graduated from the institute in the fields of business, marketing, science, engineering, aerospace, mechanical, and the list goes on. So let me hand over to Ms. Rachel. Let me say a very good morning to you. I think it's morning there, just past 10 o'clock in the morning. So here it's afternoon at 2. It's 2:30 here in the afternoon. So over to you to give an introduction about the institute.
Thanks, Trevon. Thank you for setting up the event and for hosting me this morning. Good afternoon to everybody who's attending, and thank you for coming along to hear about IT Carlow. So as Trevon mentioned, we are a small institute in the southeast of Ireland, about less than 1 hour from Dublin. And IT Carlow this year celebrates its 50th birthday. So we've been in training graduates for careers and professions in science, engineering, and IT technologies for the last 50 years. When we began, we didn't give degrees, but we have been doing bachelor degrees now for about 25 years, master's degrees for about 10 years, and now we also have PhD students at the Institute as well. So Ireland is a small country, as you're probably aware, and not too dissimilar from Sri Lanka, also as an island economy. You guys do have a larger population than we do. But Ireland has the highest number of international workers in the European Union, and also has the youngest population in the European Union. So Ireland is a great place to choose for your higher education if you're looking for an international student experience. And it also ranks #1 in the European Union for opportunities to build life and career following the completion of studies. So there are two really great reasons to choose Ireland. And I'd like just to start by showing you a short video. Well, just for 1 second, I'm just going to share my screen with you. Here we go. So we'll start with this video here. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you can hear it.
Institute of Technology Carlow is a leading university-level institution situated in the southeast region of Ireland in northwest Europe. With a population of almost 5 million, Ireland is a young and vibrant country with a highly educated workforce. As an English-speaking EU member state, Ireland holds strong economic and social links with the USA and the United Kingdom, and has attracted many of the world's leading high-performance companies to its shores. Dublin, Ireland's capital city, is fast becoming known as the Silicon Valley of Europe. Institute of Technology Carlow is located in Carlow, just an hour from Dublin, and is home to 8,400 students studying programs in business, humanities, science, computing, sport and engineering, and offers over 80 undergraduate and almost 30 postgraduate programs at master's and doctorate level. The Institute's strong commitment to high-quality research and innovation is evident in its research centres. graduates of an honours degree from outside of the EU may stay and work in Ireland for 1 year after completing their studies, while those who have completed postgraduate degrees may stay and work in Ireland for up to 2 years. Students here can expect a complete third-level experience that includes opportunities to participate in public showcases, internships and work placements. With over 65 clubs and societies, students also have an opportunity to really get involved in campus life and make many new friends. Our €15 million South Sports Campus will also broaden the extensive sporting facilities available to students. The Institute of Technology Carlow campus is a short walk into Carlow town, where our international students live in a variety of accommodation options. The town offers a superb range of eateries, bars, cinemas and nightlife. Students love the friendly, safe community feel of Carlow town and its easy access to the rest of the country. The OECD ranks Ireland in the top 10 globally for its quality of education, while the Global Peace Index lists Ireland amongst the world's 10 safest countries, making Ireland a great place to study in a safe and friendly environment. Graduates from Institute of Technology Carlow work in multinational companies in Ireland and all over the world. To make the most of the opportunity to study at Institute of Technology Carlow, please contact our international office.
So that's our video for this year. I hope you learned something new from that about Ireland and about IT Carlow. Those are the contact details there if you want to contact me, or you can also, of course, do so via your counsellor at Educo Pathways. They are prepared to advise you on our courses and also to provide you with information on applications and transferring to Carlow itself. So I'm going to take you through some short slides here, just to give you, some more detail. But I'd like to start really with giving you an update on the current situation here in Ireland. So everybody is restricted by the global pandemic, which is COVID-19. So this is just a good morning from Carlow. You've seen already some lovely pictures of the town. Carlow is really a very small town, about 40,000 inhabitants. About 40% of the adults who live in Carlow commute to Dublin every day for work. So it's not unusual for our graduates to continue living in Carlow post-graduation, but to commute to Dublin for work. There is, of course, much more work available in Dublin than there is in the small town of Carlow. But what we, one of the great advantages of choosing Carlow is that you're close enough to the capital city that you can commute, but you're far enough away that you have a much lower cost of living. Excuse me. The cost of living in Carlow can be up to 4 times less than the cost of living in Dublin. This is just some of our students, what they're doing at the moment during lockdown. So I'm seeing lots of lovely photos on Instagram and Facebook of students, I suppose, enjoying the spring weather. You know, international students arrive here, excuse me, in the month of September, when summer is coming to an end. And then we move into the winter period where the days become rather short. The sun here can set in the winter time at about 4:30 and often doesn't rise until about 9. While at the moment we are enjoying the complete opposite of that spectrum, where the sun is rising in the morning before 5:30 and not setting until about 9:30 or 10 p.m. in the evening. So it really is a lovely time to be here during springtime, to see nature reawaken. The trees grow their leaves, there's flowers everywhere. So it's a really nice time for students, even though this year they are quite restricted in terms of their movement. So this is the COVID-19 update from Education in Ireland. So the soft lockdown began on the 13th of March. That's when we closed the institute. So at that point, all learning went online. Now, our courses would have a very high practical content, but thankfully around that time of the year, March, April time, most of the assessed practical work is completed. So for the most part, students were able to take their final weeks of learning online, and then all of the examinations were also carried out online, just finishing up now this week, actually. So the hard lockdown began on the 27th of March. That means that everybody then began to stay at home. So places like institutes were closed from a couple of weeks before, but from the 27th, and pretty much the whole country shut down. This was then extended until yesterday, May the 18th. And now we find ourselves in phase 1 of the reopening of Ireland. So there'll be a little bit more information on that later. Schools and universities are remaining closed until September, but the last phase of our reopening should end around September time. So we are still aiming for a regular intake. We are optimistic that we will be able to get going during the month of September as we normally would. If there is a change here, it will be a month or 2 months maximum. This will, we hope, just provide students with more time for things like visa application, for transferring to Ireland. And of course, there is talk at the moment of a 14-day self-isolation period on arrival. So just yesterday, I was speaking with one of our accommodation partners. So they're all preparing for this 14-day self-isolation. They are preparing ways in which they can support students during this time. And here at the Institute, we're also thinking about things that we can do and ways that we can assist students going through their initial 14-day isolation period. Let me say that this has not yet been confirmed at the moment. This is still what people are guessing, perhaps, or estimating that this will happen, but there is absolutely no final decision on any such matters yet. We continue to be patient throughout the summer months. We continue to be optimistic, and we hope that when September comes around, that we'll be welcoming all of the international students who have applied and who have secured their places via payment of a deposit. The numbers of infected with COVID-19 and the number of very sad deaths is constantly dropping here. So we're very optimistic that we're going to emerge from this crisis stronger than ever. So what are the newspapers saying? So this is interesting here. Ireland is ranked among the best for COVID-19 innovative solutions. So Ireland in general would have a very active sector in both pharmaceutical manufacturing, medical device manufacturing, and also IT technologies. So these sectors are coming together to work on, various solutions for the current crisis. A number of large pharmaceutical manufacturing companies in Ireland have invested great funds in working on a vaccine. So, there's lots going on here in Ireland to combat the situation globally. The image on the other side, that the Irish economy will suffer the mildest shock from COVID-19. These figures come from the OECD. And so though, yes, we are suffering high levels of unemployment at the moment and the economy has gone into shock, everything is pointing to the fact that Ireland will make a very good and very strong recovery. It's easier for small countries to recover from these disasters than large countries. Ireland is a country where, as I mentioned, we have a lot of people involved in the tech and the pharmaceutical manufacturing industries. These industries will continue to grow, to strengthen, to address the current crisis. And so, yeah, we're very optimistic that things are going to go well here in Ireland. So this is the roadmap to recovery. So you can see there are 5 stages. We are reopening for business in 5 stages beginning yesterday. Phase 1 started yesterday, May 18th, and continues until June the 8th. At the beginning of phase 5, schools, 3rd level and adult education centres will open. They have given us instructions that we will need to maintain social distancing. So this is at the moment being figured out by all of the different institutes. How can we maintain social distancing? And how can we keep everybody, staff and students, safe on our campus? The good news is that we have a very large campus. And as we have courses with a very high practical content, a lot of our classrooms would also not have very large numbers of students in them. If you were to go into any of the standard universities here in Ireland, you would be going into lecture theatres where you might have 100 or 200 students studying together. This is quite a rare thing at IT Carlow, given that our groups are small. So for example, on the mechanical engineering undergraduate degree, we would only take 30 students a year. So we are optimistic again that we will be able to maintain social distancing on campus and that we will be able to run our programs as normal from September. So I mentioned this just a moment ago. Ireland has the youngest population in the European Union. 33.3% of the population is under 25 years old. And we also rank in the top 10 education systems globally. And we rank in the top 10 as an education system that meets the needs of a competitive economy. So I've mentioned already the strong economy here in Ireland and the sectors which are booming. And so, of course, our education system is geared and organized and designed to meet the needs of our economy. So our graduates in science and engineering progress to work in pharmaceutical manufacturing. Our IT technology graduates go on to work in software development. There's a lot of fintech happening in Ireland. So we'll talk another bit about that again later. It's just another picture of Carlow, and very on the small picture on the side, you can see how close Carlow is to Dublin. Ireland is not a place that has the best public transport in the world. However, thankfully, Carlow and Dublin are linked by train, also by bus, and of course you can drive there. So these are the undergraduate or bachelor programs, which would be quite popular with international students. So we have three main faculties: Faculty of Engineering, of Science, and then of Business and Humanities. Our IT programs belong in science. The Department of the Built Environment is included in engineering, where you can study things like architectural technology, building and facilities management. And then engineering, we have mechanical, electronic, aerospace, civil, and you can also study TV and media production in the Faculty of Engineering. We have a fully kitted out recording studio with full sound and visual facilities for that course. What you'll notice with our courses is that they're quite niche. So we don't do things like degrees in computer science or computer engineering. If you choose IT technologies at IT Carlow, you'll be choosing a specific niche program, for example, cybercrime and IT security, computer game development, software development. And then on the other side of the Faculty of Sciences, you have what we would call more classic or pure sciences. So you can study biosciences with biopharmaceuticals, you can study drug formulation. And then in the Faculty of Science, we also have some of our sports programs. So you can study sport and exercise science. You can study sports rehabilitation and athletic therapy, which will qualify you as a physiotherapist. And you also have an option to study strength and conditioning. So there's a very high level of sport, a very high level of research, and the science faculty is very well equipped and very much geared towards preparing graduates for jobs in the sectors which are booming here in Ireland. Finally, then we look quickly at the Faculty of Business and Humanities. We have common entry business programs. That means all business students start together in years 1 and 2, studying core common subjects. And then in years 3 and 4, they specialize in one of 6 areas. We have international business, business management, human resource management, marketing, supply chain management, and finance and accounting. So there's a wide range of business programs available. You can also then study PR and media. You can study product design. We have programs in early childhood education and care. So for an Institute of Technology, we have done a lot to develop our Faculty of Business and Humanities. And of course, these areas would be less practical, less technical. But what you'll find with our programs in the Faculty of Humanities is that they very often include things like professional accreditation. So for example, if you're studying finance and accounting, when you graduate from IT Carlow, you will have the maximum number of exemptions possible for professional exams in accounting. So you'll have exemptions from the initial professional exams in the likes of ACCA, CPPA, and all of those other professional accounting bodies. So these are the master's programs. The Irish Masters is a 1-year program. It's a 12-month program beginning in September and finishing again in the month of August. So students have lectures and exams between September and May. And then in June and July, they write their dissertation or their extended project. This is handed in at the end of July. Students get their results in late August, and then they can apply for their graduate visa. Okay, so that's the G1 visa. When you complete an Irish master's program, you can stay in Ireland for 2 years after you complete. When you finish a bachelor degree, you can stay in Ireland for 1 year if you choose a level 8 program, which is a 4-year program. And when you finish an undergraduate degree, you're also prepared for master's study. So you can see that the master's programs are not as plentiful as the undergraduate programs. This is purely because our graduates enjoy very good access to the jobs market. They are employed really quite quickly after graduation. And so it's quite typical in Ireland for students to come back to do a master's when they have got a couple of years of work experience. So this is something which is also interesting if you're applying for a master's in Ireland. In many of the faculties, we are looking for candidates not just with good, strong undergraduate programs, but also with work experience. This is a quick slide just to show you what some of our students, both international and Irish, like about IT Carlow. They like that the lecturers are knowledgeable and approachable. Shane from Ireland says that he likes that it's a small campus where you can get to know a lot of people quickly. And this, this is the typical feedback that we get from our students. They like the close-knit community among students. They also like the easy access that they have to their lecturers. I mentioned already about small class sizes. So when you have a small class size, of course, you get more, I suppose, attention from your lecturers. When you're studying a practical or a technical program at IT Carlow too, so in engineering or science, you'll all actually have 2 teams of staff who are working with you. 1 are your lecturers, and then 2 are the technicians who are constantly in those labs where you will be doing your practical work, and they are available to help and support you there, and also outside of lecture time when you're preparing assignments and projects. So this is just a quick slide from our library. You'll see on the left-hand side that our library is spread over 3 floors. And on the right-hand side, you'll see that we have both individual and group workstations. So this is a very good reflection of the type of training that you get at IT Carlow, which is very much focused at preparing you for the workplace. There is no workplace, well, very few workplaces in the world where you will work as an individual alone. You need to be able to function within a team. And here in Ireland, where we have some of the top multinational companies present, we're also talking about very multicultural teams. So as I mentioned earlier on in the presentation, Ireland has the highest number of international workers of any country in the EU. So if you're coming to live and work in Ireland, you need to be prepared to be able to work well in teams with people of different nationalities, different cultures, and who speak different languages. Of course, English is the main language. It's the lingua franca here for all of the international workers. But how you express yourself to people who speak other languages initially is extremely important in the level of success that you reach. So you will be given group assignments from the very beginning of your time at IT Carlow, and the library helps to facilitate this by providing spaces where you can complete group assignments. Every year we celebrate International Day at IT Carlow. We have over 80 different nationalities on our campus. Not everybody is classed as an international student. Some people came to Ireland with their parents and completed their high school here and then progressed to higher level or higher education. But most of the students that you see on the screen in front of you right now, these are actual international students. So we have a good community from China, from Malaysia, from Oman, from Canada, from South Africa. There's students on our campus from all over, both at master's and at undergraduate level. So one of the reasons that we're now quite active in Sri Lanka and we're reaching out to you, the students of Sri Lanka, is that we're looking to diversify our international student population further. We don't have students from Sri Lanka on our campus at the moment. We have had Sri Lankans in the past, but they have usually progressed to Ireland from Malaysia, where they began their higher studies and then progressed to us to complete degrees. So there are many different ways to access IT Carlow, not just into year 1 or not just into the masters. There are also what we would call progression pathways. So you can begin your studies at an institute at home, and then you can transfer to Ireland. For example, you might complete a HND or a HNC there in Sri Lanka at a private college or at a state college, and then you might decide that you want to move to Ireland and to continue with degree studies. Usually you would get access to year 1 or year 2, year 2 or year 3 of our undergraduate programs. And so your education that you completed in Sri Lanka, together with whatever years you complete in Ireland, will then have you prepared and ready for the workplace in Ireland. So I just want to talk to you very quickly about scholarships and discounted courses. Actually, we might just quickly have a look at the cost first, the tuition fees, and then we'll have a look at scholarships and discounted courses. So the foundation program, if you're coming to Ireland and you have less than 12 years of full-time education and you want to study an undergraduate program, you may need to complete the foundation program. If you have an A level or you have an IBDP or you've completed the 12th year of Sri Lankan school, then you won't need the foundation. The undergraduate bachelor's program is 10,250 euros a year, and the postgraduate or master's program is 11,250 euros a year. So I'll just go back now to the scholarships and discounted courses. So if you're a year 1 student coming to IT Carlow and you take your English language test and you can show us that you have a very high level, then you can get a small fee discount of 1,000 euros. So the scholarship point for English language is 7 in IELTS overall. We don't worry about the band scores when we're looking at the scholarship. This year, due to COVID-19 and restrictive measures, which are making it difficult for students to access IELTS courses, we're also accepting the Duolingo English test. And the scholarship point on the Duolingo English test is 120 points. Postgraduate candidates can also be offered or be successful in securing a small academic scholarship. For a postgraduate candidate, there's 2 things that you need to have to get the scholarship. 1 is a high level of English, and 2 is a good mark in your undergraduate degree. So let's just look quickly. The first one is for 70 to 79% in the undergraduate, plus 7 or 120 in the Duolingo will give you a 1,000 euro fee discount. And if you have above 80% in your undergraduate and 7 in your IELTS or 120 in Duolingo, you'll get a 1,500 euro fee discount. Now, these fee discounts may not seem like an awful lot of money, but you need to remember what we said about the cost of living in Carlow being very low. So 1,000 euro fee discount, this is at least 2 months rent. It could be more depending on the accommodation option that you choose. And 1,500 euros is 3 months rent or more, depending on the accommodation that you choose. We also have two, I suppose, groups of courses which are currently discounted at 20%. They include all of the courses in the Department of the Built Environment within the Faculty of Engineering. And they include architectural technology, building and facilities management, civil engineering. At the moment, all of those courses are running at 20% off. So for undergraduate, that's 8,200 euros instead of 9,000 or instead of 10,250. We also have a second campus. Our second campus is in the town of Wexford. Wexford is a seaside town. It's located a little further away from Dublin, a little bit further to the south and to the east of Carlow, right on the coast. This is where IT Carlow have their School of Art and Design, and where you can study things like pure art, visual communications and design, sustainable agriculture, and a variety of business courses as well. These courses are also currently running at a 20% discount. So the same price applies as I mentioned earlier. For the undergrad, it's 8,200 euros, and for the postgrad, 9,200 euros. So IT Carlow can offer you a really high level of course, a really excellent style of teaching, a really engaging environment, and also a rather reasonable price point. So don't worry if you can't remember all these facts. You can consult with Educo, with your counselor there. You can contact me directly. All of this information is widely and freely available. So these are the entry requirements for students from Sri Lanka. So if you want to go directly to year 1, without the foundation, you should have your high school's completion certificate at advanced level. You could also have the Cambridge A level. And we need you to have an IELTS 5.5 with 5.5 across all the bands. Okay, so it is important that if you're meeting the entry requirement on IELTS, that it is across all the bands. For foundation program entry, you can finish school at the AS level or the IGCE. And for the foundation, you only need an IELTS of 4.5. If you have the Sri Lankan high school completion certificate at advanced level or the Cambridge A level, and you don't have a 5.5 in IELTS, you will also need to complete the foundation program. In this case, my advice to students is usually to stay at home in Sri Lanka, improve your English until you meet the entry requirement point, and then transfer to Carlow. But it may be a choice for you to come and to complete the foundation. If you want undergraduate advanced entry, so if you've already begun your higher studies there in Sri Lanka and you want to continue with us, you can do this via HND, a HNC, the first couple of years of an undergraduate degree in Sri Lanka. There are many, many, many different options. So please do talk to your counselor at Educo and contact me if you have any questions on that. The Sri Lankan bachelor's degree, the special or honors degree, qualifies you for master's entry. You need an IELTS of 6 with 6 across all bands to qualify for a master's program. So we spoke about the tuition fee already, but let's just have a look at the living costs. So your accommodation will cost you anywhere between 100 and 130 euros per week. Most accommodation includes Wi-Fi, electricity, heat, rubbish collection. All of these things are, part of the actual rental payment. For food, we estimate between 80 and 100 euros a week. There are various food options available on our campus. We have a canteen, which is open every day from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. They serve breakfast. And then at lunchtime, they serve a dinner style meal. So most Irish people eat their dinner in the evening, but on campus, you can have a dinner meal at lunchtime. All of the food that is available on campus is subsidized by the state. So the more you can eat on campus, the lower you can keep your costs. You'll notice that next to transport, I have 0 because there is no public transport in Carlow. I walk to work from my apartment. It takes me about 15 minutes to reach the campus. That's kind of average. Your average international student lives anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes from the campus on foot. Some students do decide to get themselves a bicycle while they're here to help them to get around even quicker, but the vast majority of people move around on foot. So here are some of Ireland's top employers. So I'm going to leave this, this one up for a little while and just let you have a quick look at it. I'm sure you recognize some of these logos and some of these companies. So you can see what I mentioned earlier is reflected very clearly here, which is that, a lot of the world's top tech companies, 9 of the top 10 born on the internet companies, 9 of the top 10 pharmaceutical and medical device manufacturing companies, all have a presence in Ireland. So Ireland attracts these companies through very low or very competitive tax rates. But when these companies are surveyed, they will always tell you that, yes, they're attracted to Ireland because of the low corporate tax rate, but they stay here in Ireland because of the excellent supply of young professionals coming out of Irish HEIs. So, if these companies couldn't get the staff that they need to keep going, yes, they would be moving to other places. So we know that we attract them with a low tax rate, but we hold on to them by supplying them with talent. You may or may not be aware that it's very much in the Irish tradition for young people to graduate from university and then to go abroad. I myself am one of my parents' 4 children, and my 3 siblings all live abroad. I have 1 sister in London, 1 sister in Chicago, and 1 brother in Sydney. So this is not an unusual Irish family at all. So this is great news for you, the international students who are coming here to study and hoping to stay and work afterwards. The good news is that a lot of the competition will not be from Irish graduates who graduate with you, because many of them will be on their way out of the country. Traditionally, the Irish traveled abroad because there wasn't enough work here. These days, it's not about that. It's really, I guess in Sri Lanka, you have the same understanding because you also come from an island. But when you reach the age of 20, 25 on an island, you have a desire, I think, to just go out into the world and see and discover other things. So if you want to have an idea of what kind of jobs are available in Ireland, you can also use a website called irishjobs.ie. So log on to www.irishjobs.ie, and that will give you an idea of the kind of jobs that are currently available in the economy, the location of those jobs, and also the salaries being paid. So this will give you an idea of what will be available to you when you complete your studies here with us. I just want to show you one more quick video. So these are our international student ambassadors for this year, and this video was shot during International Day. So you'll see what happens on International Day is that each group of students from their country, or sometimes you have a student all by themselves, and they come together in the main area of the inside campus, and they have a table each where they prepare food from their country and share it with everybody who's around on that day. And then usually there's some music and dancing performances at the end as well. So I'm just going to put this video on. It's very short, and I'll be back with you in just 1 second.
There's students from all over the world studying here.
I'm from Malaysia.
I'm from Canada.
I'm from Korea.
I'm from central part of India.
I'm from the northeast of China. I'm currently studying accounting.
I'm currently majored in supply chain management.
I'm studying human resources.
Aircraft system avionics.
I study accounting.
And I study about Bachelor in aircraft system.
The best thing about studying at IT Carlow is the class sizes. It's a nice small class, so the lecturers really get to know you by name and get to develop that personal relationship with you.
They really want the students to understand, and if you don't understand, you can actually meet them after class. They spend time with you. There are lots of people here, a lot of country here that I can meet, and then there are lots of culture that I can learn more.
People are very friendly, they are kind. It has a great environment.
Having that international experience just adds a lot to what you are as a person, as well as what you can put on your CV.
You can choose anything that you're interested in. You will meet great lecturers and classmates in IT Carlow, so I really recommend it to any international students who wish to study abroad.
Super. So that's it's the same message coming through from the international student ambassadors as you saw on some of the earlier slides, and definitely the same type of feedback that we get from our students most of the time, which is, that they really enjoy the practical content, the small class sizes, the friendly relationship that they have with their teaching faculty, and of course, just the general international atmosphere on our campus. So that takes us just to the very final slide. So please, if you're online this morning and you're watching, please do give us a like and a follow on Facebook and Instagram. And on Facebook, we're Institute of Technology Carlow International. You'll also find, of course, that IT Carlow have a page that is not international. You can like that too. Some of the content crosses over, some doesn't. And then on Instagram, we're International Carlow IT. So please do give us a follow. I use both pages really just to keep the students who are here in Carlow in any given year updated on what's going on around the campus, to communicate any information to them that, that they need to know about. So for example, in the current climate, regular COVID-19 updates, et cetera, et cetera. So please do give us a like and a follow. We'd very much like to see you there on social media. I guess that's kind of all I really wanted to talk to you about this morning. So we'll welcome Trevon back again. He may have some questions for me.
Hi, Rachel. Yeah. Thanks a lot for that very in detail information about IT Carlow. So I guess everybody has a good idea on what IT Carlow has to offer and their facilities, and about Ireland as well. There are a few questions I think touched on these, but I'll just read it out because they have asked one student and asked, do you all have aeronautical engineering program?
Yes, we certainly do. So we have two programs within the Faculty of Engineering. One is a level 7 and the other is a level 8. This is something I didn't really touch on too much. In Ireland, level 7 programs are 3 years and level 8 programs are 4 years. So the aircraft systems, level 3, and aerospace engineering, level 4, actually the students are together in years 1, 2, and 3, but then some students choose to leave at the end of year 3 with their level 7 qualification. And this is predominantly Irish students who make this choice, because for international students, the stay back option of 1 year with full work permit only applies after the completion of 4 years. Also, students are only eligible for master's study after the completion of 4 years. So do we have aerospace engineering? Yes, we do. We have one of only 2 hangars in the whole country One is at the University of Limerick and the other one is with us here in Carlow. We have been training students in this area for over 20 years. We are a YASA approved training center, but we're not doing YASA exams anymore. So I'm not going to explain in great detail, but the person who asked that question probably knows exactly what I mean when I say YASA. So please, yes, we do have it. Please do contact us for further information on that.
All right, thanks, Shirley. And also, there's another question like, where is the college located? I think we spoke about this at the beginning of it.
Yep. I could see that some people were logging in a little bit late, so maybe Trevon, they just missed the beginning. So
yes.
So IT Carlow is in the southeast of Ireland. It is less than 1 hour by car, by train from Dublin. We are in the province of Leinster. The southeast of Ireland is often identified as the sunny southeast, and it includes the counties of Kilkenny, Carlow, Wexford, and Waterford. So Carlow is the second smallest county in Ireland. It's where we have our main campus in Carlow Town. Carlow Town has a population of about 40,000 people. Within 5 minutes of the town on foot, well, maybe 10 minutes, you're already in beautiful rolling green countryside. It really is a fabulous county. Please do check it out online. And then our sister campus is in the county of Wexford, which is right on the southeast coast, around about 40-50 kilometers from Carlow.
Okay. The same person has asked, is there a mixed program of into masters, a mixed program in business and IT combined together?
No, no, because we have two separate faculties, of Faculty of Business and Humanities and Faculty of Science, where we have our IT programs. I know exactly the kind of programs that you're talking about, whoever asked that question. I know in some of the countries I travel to, they have programs in business informatics, for example, where it's about IT within the business industry. I suppose the closest thing that we would have to that in a master's program is our master's in IT management. So this is very much for graduates of IT technologies who are interested in working in large companies on their IT systems. So as we know, all large companies have IT systems. And so the graduates of IT management are probably involved in making sure that the internal IT systems in companies are both secure, are kept up to date, are kept fully calibrated, et cetera, et cetera. So that's probably the closest fit to a mix between business and IT would be the IT management program.
What about business analysis?
Business analysis. So at the moment we have a brand new program, a brand new master's program, which we're trying to get off the ground in the Wexford campus, and it's digital media with business analytics. So that might be a good fit there. So basically, that is looking at digital media, I suppose, for things like marketing, etc. And then how to use science. I'm not a very scientific person, but how to use science and statistics to judge the effectiveness of marketing and different, strategies, including digital media for business. Again, if you would like more information about that, just contact me and I'll put you in touch with the people who are running the course.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, definitely. If there are any more questions, you can get in touch with us as well, Educopathways, through our hotline number, which is 0772 711 and we are always there to help you, assist you in every need. And also, if you need more information with Rachel, we can connect you with him, with her, and get a one-to-one session as well. Some of the questions, some of the things I just wanted to ask you, Rachel, is now you said yesterday that phase 1 of the lockdown was eased. So when it comes to September, what will be the phase by that time? I mean,
so phase 5 ends at the beginning of September. So genuinely, we would usually run our induction in the first or second week of September. So even though we can't confirm it yet, we think realistically that probably our induction this year will run either in the middle of September or towards the end of September. But at that stage, the reopening will be complete all going well, as long as we don't have to take any steps backwards. So if that is the case, it means that everything will be open and accessible. There will be no mass gatherings of more than 5,000 people, you know, so there won't be any very large sporting events or very, very large musical events, you know, and these things would be very popular in Ireland. So of course, social life will be a little bit different to what we're used to. However, all businesses will be back up and running and everything will be accessible. So even when we get to the end of phase 5, you know, the most important word at the moment is social distancing. So keeping our distance of 2 meters from each other. Just this week, the government have introduced guidelines that they'd like us to wear a facial covering when we're on busy public transport or when we're in supermarkets. I guess this is because they're expecting places to now start getting busier. In Carlow, we don't need to worry about the busy public transport because we don't have any public transport. But there is a possibility that when, you know, studies resume, that we will be asking students to wear facial coverings when they're on the campus, when we can't maintain the same level of social distancing, which is expected, which is the 2 meter distance. But, you know, Trevon, all of these things at the moment are still very much in the discussion phase. We're trying to keep our candidates and our students as up to date as we can. This is another good reason to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. This is where we will be putting our updates as they come to us.
All right, thanks, Rachel. And just about the self-isolation, is there facilities available for accommodation in campus at the moment, or it does not
IT
say
doesn't
somebody's
have
coming?
its own accommodation on campus anyway. So our campus is reserved for academic and sporting facilities. Okay, so our students live in the wider community and there's a wide range of accommodation options available. So just yesterday, I was speaking to one of our accommodation partners. They provide 180 beds in apartments in the center of Carlow. It's specific student accommodation, only students live in there. And they told me that, yes, they are already preparing a set of guidelines for students who are arriving in September so that they will be able to order food for delivery, etc. So they won't have to leave those apartments for the first 14 days. If this comes to pass and this 14 days of self-isolation is compulsory, we as an institute will also bring together a team to support students at this stage. We will also be able to help them with food delivery, etc. And then once the 14 days have passed, they'll be stepping out into normal society in as much as anything is normal at the moment. So are there special facilities? No. I mean, for example, we know that some of our Malaysian students who returned home this summer, the Malaysian government was putting everybody into a hotel for 14 days. Everybody had their individual room and meals delivered 3 times a day. This is not going on in Ireland. You know, people are expected to self-isolate or self-quarantine in their own space. So it would always be the case that incoming students would have their accommodation booked before arrival. And this year, worst case scenario is that they will proceed directly to their accommodation. We collect all of our newly incoming students from the airport anyway and transfer them by taxi for free. So we'll be doing the same thing this year. We'll be transferring students to their accommodation, and then we'll be providing them with a set of guidelines and a set of supports to facilitate them in quarantining for 14 days for the good of everybody, including themselves.
Yeah, thanks. Just one more question, Rachel. I think this is most of the students who try to apply for postgraduate don't know this until they contact us and, you know, get all the information. Is that some of them want to take their dependents as well and come to Ireland, but this is not possible over there. So any particular reason for this?
I don't know. I mean, I've discussed this with many people many times. I suppose the number one thing to know is that, yes, the Irish student visa is for one person only. There's many different, you know, ways to think about this. I personally believe it's because, you know, your average Irish student is not married. Even your average Irish master's student is not married. You know, the Irish don't marry until they're a good bit older, into their 30s. So perhaps we don't allow for the dependents because we don't really expect that students will have dependents. You know, Ireland has a very, very IT Carlow, in fact, has the largest faculty of lifelong learning in the country. So lifelong learning is the option for people who have already, you know, grown up sufficiently to marry, establish a family, and then would like a return to education. But those people very, very rarely study full time. So I don't have a good reason for why that is, but I guesstimate that it's something to do with the fact that, you know, we don't assume that our own students would have dependents. And so we you know, aim to bring in students who, you know, also because it's quite a challenge here, you know, like the cost of living in places like Carlow is low, but student accommodation also, you know, usually students live with other students. And so it wouldn't really be suitable for students to have, you know, spouses and children with them if they're sharing homes with other students. And to rent a family home while being a student is, you know, is very expensive and difficult thing to do. So I assume that there's a number of reasons why they've made this decision. But yes, this is most definitely the case. The Irish student visa is for one person and one person only.
Thanks a lot, Rachel, for your time. I think there are a lot of questions, but we will answer them after this session. We'll send you all a message to it as well. And since I think Rachel just started her day, and thank you so much for taking the time and accepting our invitation to give the details to prospective students in Sri Lanka. So thanks a lot, Rachel, once again, and hope you keep safe and take care.
Thanks so much. It was an absolute pleasure. My second last trip of the spring was to Sri Lanka. I was in Colombo in the month of very early March. And
yeah, just
I'm
before, I think,
really optimistic that I'll get there again before the end of 2020. So fingers crossed, I'll be seeing you guys not on Zoom or not on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye, bye, bye.